This is Generation Green's Wildflower Project, the podcast that starts conversations to create connections on this journey we're all doing called life. Together, we can grow through what we go through and bloom in spite of it all. So let's be like wildflowers and see where the wind blows us.
Hello and welcome back to the Wildflower Project. I'm your host, Sherry Sobey, and today I have the privilege of sitting down here with Seeds of Love Creations founder, Amelia MacDougal. Welcome, Amelia.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here today.
So Amelia is someone that does a whole bunch of different types of workshops and discussion around connecting to the earth and the energies of the earth and nature healing and all that wonderful stuff. So, and specifically, one of those things we want to talk about is how it benefits our health. So let's talk about how this journey first began for you. I know you were a pharmacist and had this transitional moment. So maybe explain a little bit about that.
Yes, I would love to. So I worked as a pharmacist for 3 years, and it was about halfway through my time there that I really started to notice that something was wrong with our healthcare system and how we were managing people's health. So I noticed that so many of my patients, when they were put on medication, they never really came off. And very often, they were actually getting more and more medication every time. And these people, even with the medication, very often were still sick. They were still having problems. So I began to really question how we were managing things and began to seek for an alternative and what the real solution and key to healing is, because my understanding of healing would be that you don't have to take a medication anymore, that you're not dependent on something. And I know how our body is they're really capable of healing. When we get a cut, that heals. Our soul is also able to heal itself when a fragment of it is lost or something is imbalanced in the soul. It can heal itself. So we have this innate capacity to heal. So why are we, what's going on with the medication? So I began to look for an answer. And around this time, I was also going through a lot of struggles in my own life because of how uncomfortable and how unhappy I was in my job. And I had a lot of stress and anxiety. And all of a sudden, I began to get called outside into nature, and I didn't really have an understanding of it, but I just followed it. So I started to spend more and more time outside, and what I found was how much better I felt, how more connected to myself that I felt, and all of the things that were unbalanced in my life began to come into balance. And that's when I really started to notice it was time for me to, one, leave my job, and two, begin to pursue this, because as I researched more and more, I found that there's a lot of evidence that nature connection is really what's missing from our lives, from a lot of people's lives, and that when we have that reestablished, there's a lot of health benefits across the board, really. It's so physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Well, and I'm so glad that you've done it at such a young age, too, because
Thank
for a
you.
lot of us, for a lot of us older people, it takes, it's kind of like your life catches up to you, is what I've been saying. Like I'm in my 50s now. And so seeing the effects of the pre-programming or the, I guess even the adversities too, and how they all catch up to you. And so now when your focus is so about, for me, the clock ticks in a different way now, right? So it's like, I'm so focused on living my best life right now because I know how fast it goes by, and I know the damage that can be caused by all of those things. So really trying to be more mindful about that. When I get a thought, it's like pausing. It's like, is that my thought, or is that a thought that was in there, because of whatever? Because it's to be able to be your authentic self. We need to be able to move that all aside and kind of, find out who we are. And yeah, like I'm this old doing it now. But whereas you're so young, being able to do that, that's lovely, because you're going to have this beautiful time where you're just like living authentically, right?
Yeah,
so that's
exciting.
wonderful.
It's exciting that you're doing it too, because
Yeah.
we're all adding our energy to the collective transformation of coming back to our authentic selves and to what's true to us and what's good for us and what's good for the earth. Because when we're being true to ourselves, it's very natural for us to be also true to the earth and to be honoring the earth. So
Yeah, I mean, there's so much disconnect because of the barriers that we are putting between us and the energies of the earth. And one of the things that I know that I had read about was about earthing, and especially for anxiety. There was this one gentleman actually who was posting a lot about how he was treating his anxiety by earthing, just by every night going out in his bare feet and walking back and forth in the yard. And just the grounding that he felt, the calmness that he felt from that, and it makes total sense. It's kind of like I find that too when I go to the cottage, for instance, and just to disconnect from all of the chaos of our daily lives, and just to sit. It sounds so corny sometimes, but it's like, oh, the birds and the water and the sun and the trees, and it's just like you just don't have a care in the world, right? I feel so, I think it enhances that the spirituality in us too, right? Because it's like, wow, you're just like, wow, when you really sit and look at it and take it in, and in all of its glory and beauty, it is just that feeling inside. I think there's nothing else to say about it. It's just like, wow, where did this happen? How did this happen? And how fortunate are we to be able to take a moment like that and connect. So I totally can believe in the healing benefits of that, the enhanced spirituality, the enhanced creativity that comes from that. Would you not agree with that?
completely. There are some days where whenever I'm feeling a little bit stuck and go outside, it's like automatically there's insight, there's inspiration. And what's really amazing about it is that it's not just coming from us, it's coming from nature too. It's coming from the trees and the spirits there, and they want us to thrive and they want us to be healthy and creating. So it's such a beautiful and magical thing. Yeah.
I especially have a fascination with trees. I've always wanted to draw them. I have a huge picture in my living room. Right now I have a really hard time. And I think this is something you can kind of help with too, is about how we can connect to nature and to those energies in the winter months. Like I usually after work, I'd go home, sit on my swing out on my deck, and love to watch the tree, like the leaves just blow like that. It's so relaxing for me. Right now, I'm like trying to look at pictures. I have some coffee table books as well. What other things could we maybe do to try and connect a bit more from during these winter dormant kind of months?
Yeah. So there's quite a few things that we can do both inside and outside. And what it's important to recognize that there are energies to connect with other than just the trees. So, and we can also connect with the energies of the earth without actually being physically present and touching it, because of how powerful our minds and intentions are. And there's a law that goes where our thoughts go and our intention goes, energy flows. So we can direct that energy even if we're not physically in contact with it. So that's pretty cool stuff. So how then can we connect? So I'll just list some of my favorite ways right now that I'm thinking of. Right now, I've been connecting a lot with the sun, especially since it's dark. It's very easy to get kind of sluggish energy. So just spending a few moments outside, and you can do this like on your way to work, as you're on your driveway in the morning. Instead of like getting grumbly about having to scrape your windshield, just look up at the sky and just take a few moments to appreciate the sun and just say thank you to the sun. And you can consciously pull and inhale the energy of that sun into you, and it's invigorating you and it's bringing you energy throughout your day. Hugging trees that you can do any year round. That's such a favorite for me too.
And if you're a little bit afraid of hugging a tree because somebody might be looking at, I have to touch them when I'm walking by on my way from on my way in here to work. I have to sometimes just want to touch them and say hello and try to capture a little bit of that life in them, right?
Yeah, and you can even do it from a distance too.
Oh.
You can totally do it from a distance. You can pretend, if you're really feeling skittish about it, you can just stand a few feet away and gaze at it. So maybe it looks like you're looking at the tree. And again, with your intention, you can talk to that tree in your mind. You can send it love, and it starts to send energy back to you just through that intention.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and if you have your palms out facing the tree, then you can then consciously draw in energy from the tree on the inhale, and then exhaling negativity and energy that's not serving you on the exhale through your hands, and it goes back through the tree into the earth and is transmuted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so is that also like kind of what forest bathing is, or is there something more with forest bathing? Because I've heard that, but I don't really know a lot about it. I kind of assume it's about immersing yourself in nature, but don't really know too much about it.
Yeah, so forest bathing is a very broad sort of umbrella, but it's based on the foundational principles of, you know, getting off the path, getting into the wild, getting really deeply into the present moment and into your senses, out of your everyday life, out of the chaos that can sometimes happen in our minds, so that we're fully open to receive the healing energies. And it's about just being in nature. It's about having no real agenda, just being there for the sake of being there, for appreciating, like you were saying, the beauty and the magic. And when we get into this state of just like, that's when the real transformation begins to happen. So we become more at ease, we become more connected with the mystery of everything around us, and we're absorbing the healing energies of nature. And it's not just about that, but it's also about developing the relationship with nature. So this two-way relationship of giving and receiving, and developing a real connection and love for the planet. And yeah,
I love all of that. I love it all. It just sounds so beautiful. And I think that, you know, we don't take enough time to really see, or I guess take the time to get out into nature and to really appreciate and really to start utilizing that as a healing mechanism. Because I agree with you as well. I think that there's a lot the body is capable of doing, and a lot of it is with the intentions, the mindset, and I'm sure drawing on those energies is going to be really fabulous. And I think that can kind of lead us into a little bit here to talk about your mandala creations. Yeah. So what is that all about?
So creating nature mandalas is by far one of my favorite things to do. And maybe I'll just even start with a little story, because I love to share the story of how it sort of came about. So when I was a little girl, ever since I was a little girl, I just loved to gather and just gather things from nature. And for me, this was so therapeutic and so inspiring as I got to explore all of the different beautiful little bits and pieces of nature and get to connect that way. And I kind of forgot about this for a while. I lost this part of myself, but I was so overjoyed when it began to emerge, when I found out about this practice of creating nature mandalas. And what the practice is, it's creating a mandala out of nature. So you go out into nature, you are spending time gathering, interacting with what you find, appreciating it, being inspired by it. That's the biggest thing, is just noticing what's inspiring you, what's exciting you, and allowing yourself to feel that inspiration and that love for the earth. And then you use what you've gathered to intuitively create a mandala shape. And you can use this practice in so many different ways. That's another thing that I just love about it, is you can use it just as a way of calming your mind and meditating, or of releasing emotions, or of exploring and getting to know yourself, getting to know the earth, of manifesting intentions, and also as a ritual for giving back to the earth and for connecting as a group of people as well. You can do it alone or together, and you know, by seeing how your energies meet and how your intentions meet in the creation of this piece of art. So
that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And I think I love the idea about connecting and doing connecting energies and doing mandalas together, because I think when you join together with the same intentions, right, that energy is just so exaggerated and so I guess it's just so easy to feel it.
Yeah.
And to take it with you and to help you with your manifestations. And I totally believe that the more that we're spending time in nature, and I just don't know why we don't do it enough, you know, we really have to make it, like, put it in our appointment books almost, right?
Yeah.
It's because we really need to be going back there to be able to manifest those things that we're, the things that we're trying to receive. But sometimes I think we put it out there and we're not hearing. And I think we're not hearing because we're not allowing ourselves to just be quiet in the moment and connect to those energies and hear. And sometimes we don't always like what we hear back, right? So we say, well, that can't be what it is. And I do that sometimes too, but I totally rely on the universe to guide me and to tell me. And I think the more that you put yourself in situations where you can hear those messages, receive those messages knowingly, it's ideal. So I totally want to be doing this, and I want you to show us how to do this. So
totally.
Yeah, so we are absolutely going to plan a workshop on doing this, right?
Yes, we are. It's going to be great.
And so if you're following along, you can also go onto our website at generationgreenwpg.com, and there's a tab there for Wildflower Project where we are going to be posting all of our interviews that you can link right to whatever platform they're going to be on, and we're making it nice and easy so you can access them. And from there, we have a calendar of events, so we'll be linking it all there. We'll send it all over to Amelia too. She'll be posting it. We'll be posting it on our Instagram, but we're definitely going to plan something, I think, for April. April.
So we can celebrate the coming of spring and all the beautiful changing that will be
And it's
coming.
hard to believe it's going to be coming, but I think I'm going to try and do what you're saying here right now about connecting more with the sun, because I know we've been doing that when the rays of the sun come in through the window here. It's like you're like a cat almost, right?
Yeah.
And you just want to get a nice book and sit there and bask in its glory and just feel that warmth and comfort that we desire so much, I think, and need so much in our lives. But I think I'm going to actually do that. And even when I can't see it, what about with the moon too? Because there's energies, obviously, that the moon, and the moon has been beautiful a lot lately too.
Yeah, you can do it with the moon, and you can do it with the earth too, just through your intention, drawing up that energy. Yeah, you can do it even when you're inside. Like if you're feeling anxious or anything during your day, you can just stand there and consciously draw the earth energy up, even if you're inside, at work or at home.
And I see like you're holding crystals right now. I have one as well that I like to be holding. And there's the energies that are coming from those crystals as well, right?
The crystals. Some of my other favorite ways is working with essential oils and teas, because you're basking yourself in the energy and the medicine of nature without having to go outside. So it's really good for the minus 40 days.
Yeah.
So valuable.
No kidding. Okay, we have to add this on to one of our we're doing a 28-day self-care challenge right now on our Instagram, and we're giving tips and ideas. And I think that's definitely one that people could try out, and we want to encourage people to do some different things. So I'm adding a few of these onto the list for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I'm so grateful to have you here and sharing your knowledge. And
thank you.
So tell people how they can find out more. Where can they follow you to read more about what you're doing and what you're teaching?
Yes, so you can find out about what I do on my Instagram right now, which is at Seeds of Love Creations, and my website is going to be up very, very soon too, which is www.seedsoflovecreations.com. So you can find out more information there, or you can always email me too with any questions you have at seedsoflovecreations@gmail.com.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And another interesting thing too, I'm just going to add, so when we create the mandala, it actually has a lot of rich symbolism in it, including balance and wholeness and unity. So when we create it, we're manifesting that energy for ourselves and also for the earth. So we can use it and create them with that intention to heal the planet. And something that I'm going to be starting up in March or April once there's more plant to work with, the snow's melted away, is creating them with that specific intention around the city, and then posting them onto my Instagram with my hashtag Seeds of Love Creations, and probably some other ones too, so that we can all get a network going of creating them together and healing the planet through that ritual together.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
Stay tuned for that too.
Yeah, that sounds fabulous too. And it is. We always think we're just one person, but we're one person, and then when we share it, and then another person, and so then collectively the results are amazing, right? But one person does, when I was talking to Joseph Ranseth about starting a movement, And it takes one person to have a great idea, but it takes many others to join in to create that movement.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing what transformation happens because of that. So every single person matters in creating that transformation. So
Totally.
that's why I'm really loving the idea too about doing this whole thing as a community and connecting as a community and seeing how strong that vibration is when you do that, those energies together. So beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Amelia.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to listen. And until next time, keep growing, keep blooming, and be happy.